YouTube, it is Fun Game Friday, a little event that I do over on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Bobagun, by the way, if you like this video. First Friday of every single month, I play a brand new game that I have never played before with Twitch chat to accompany me, of course. I edit the video, I upload it on the last Friday of the month to give you guys over here a heads up for when the next Fun Game Friday is. Next Friday, by the way, I'll put the date right here. But a few things went wrong with the last Fun Game Friday. One, I felt like I really didn't have the energy I should have. Two, for context, I have been sick for roughly 5 months now. So when I was streaming this, I had a cough drop in so I wouldn't cough. However, what I didn't realize is that you could hear the cough drop clanging against my teeth in the recording. Actually, I think those are my only two reasons, but for those reasons, I'm doing a voiceover today, which I haven't ever really done before, so hopefully it goes well. And we're already a little bit into the game, so let me tell you about it. This is a game called Lake. I actually can't tell you much about it except for what I've played, but basically, it takes place in 1986. Us, the main character, Meredith, were a software developer. In 1986, I guess it makes sense that there were software developers in 1986 because the first computer was made so long ago, but I don't know, that's crazy to me. I digress though. Apparently, my parents are going on vacation, so I travel from Massachusetts, where my job is, all the way to Oregon, where my parents live, to both house sit and deliver mail. From what I gathered, I think my dad works for the post office or something. So I get here, and this is my first day, and this guy, Frank, who works with my dad at the post office, is teaching me how to deliver mail. And as you can see right there, I'm really bad at reading. So I tried to put a package in the mailbox when you're actually supposed to take it just straight to the door. But basically, throughout this whole game, you deliver mail and packages, and while you're doing that, you talk to people from your childhood and reconnect with people, learn about what's going on, and of course, like a good neighbor, help some people out whenever they need it. I don't know why my first day delivering mail was so short, but I literally only had one package to deliver. And then I get home to my parents' house and I have this voicemail from my mom. Apparently, they're vacationing in Florida. I mean, Florida wouldn't be my choice unless I'm going to Disney World, but it's nice down there. And she also tells me that there's blueberry pie in the freezer for me. Thank you. That sounds delicious. And already, just like that, it's day 2. And Frank is like, "Oh, how are you doing, Meredith?" And I'm like, fine. Thanks for asking. I actually didn't have that much attitude. I felt like I was being pretty nice. But you'll see throughout this video that there are multiple times where I feel like I'm being nice. And then people are rude to me because apparently I was rude. And I didn't realize I was being rude. But in my defense, some of the answer prompts are not clear. Some of them do sound rude after I click them, but how am I supposed to know that they sound rude because just the words don't sound rude? And this lady's just smoking a cigarette. I was very freaked out about it at first, but then I also had to mentally remind myself that it's 1986. If I walked into an establishment today in 2025 and I saw somebody smoking a cigarette, I'd bolt. But that's also because I've been sick for 5 months, and if I'm around somebody smoking a cigarette, I will die. However, in 1986, it was pretty common. I don't know what people with asthma did in 1986. Did inhalers even exist in 1986? Well, that's not important right now, actually. It's not. But whatever. After I deliver the package to the lady smoking a cigarette, I come across this intersection that has lines that make no sense. That's actually not what I'm here for at all. I'm here for the lady at the cafe. I go to the back of the truck, I grab the package that I need to deliver, I come in here, the lady behind the cafe bar, her name is Maureen. Apparently, I've known her, or I knew her whenever I lived here. But I'm gonna be honest, I talked to this lady a few times while playing this game. I still do not understand what my relationship is with her. I think I guessed it right. I think she's that sort of mom friend that I kind of grew up around. I'm not totally sure if I'm right though, because she looks really young. Oh, also, she offers me a piece of blueberry pie. I try to say no because if you guys remember, my mom left me a voicemail saying that there's a piece of blueberry pie in the freezer for me. So I'm here thinking I don't want another piece of blueberry pie because I'm going to have two and I don't eat pie that much. But it's also a video game. So you know what actually happened? Nothing. I didn't get pie. Also, the kitchen set on fire while I was there. Everything was fine, so I guess it's not that important, but it still got set on fire. After I watched a kitchen set on fire because somebody was trying to give me a piece of blueberry pie that I didn't want, I come to this house and I see cats. Cats everywhere. There's cats on the roof, a cat on the porch, cats on the lawn. It's amazing. I love cats, and this is adorable. And the fact that these are outdoor cats that are just staying on the property, amazing. How do you do that? If my cats got out, they'd be in Alaska tomorrow. And I go up to the door, ring the doorbell because I have this cute little teddy bear package to give to this old lady, and she comes out with another cat. Now, this is where everything goes downhill, okay? I'm trying to have a polite conversation with this old lady. And if you didn't see, she was like, "Oh, the new mailman." And I responded, "Well, I'm not a mailman exactly." Now, my thought process was I'm a temporary postal worker. Temporary. So I don't really count. You know, you're not going to keep seeing me for a prolonged period of time. And then apparently Meredith in the game, the main character, said, "Well, I'm not a mailman exactly." And then the old lady was like, "Oh, but male woman doesn't sound right." And in my head, I'm like, that's not what I was trying to say. I was just trying to say that I was a temporary worker, and it all fell apart, right? And then this lady dumps on me about how her son won't visit her, and I try to sympathize, being like, "Yeah, he should come give you a hug." And then she calls me a nosy Bessie. Excuse me? I was just trying to sympathize. Literally, I could not get in one good word with that cat lady, and it was so irritating because I was trying so hard to be polite and just have good conversation, and it did not work. On the bright side, here, I was trying to avoid a conversation here. After that interaction with the cat lady, I just didn't want to talk to anybody. But then I ran into the town mechanic, and lo and behold, this girl is so chill. So I hand her the package. She's like, "You're not Frank." And I'm like, "No, I'm helping Frank out with the mail." And she's like, "Okay, but I repair that car. So if anything happens, bring it to me." And I'm like, "Will do." And that's it. That's the end of the conversation. I don't have to deal with any more awkward social situations. And that's, the best thing that I could ask for. Side note, I go through this really, really skinny bridge. I've seen really skinny bridges like this in real life, but driving through it, I don't know if I've ever driven through one, and it's freaking scary in a game or not. But the most important part of going through that itty bitty bridge is I run into this lumberjack with a beautiful log cabin in the middle of the woods next to a waterfall. Hello? Can you imagine living here? But anyways, I hand him his letter and he opens it right in front of me. I don't know if this happens to actual postal workers in real life, but I would feel so awkward if I handed somebody their mail and then they just open it right in front of me. And he was also disappointed. Like he got bad news or something. And I felt so bad because what am I going to do about that? Like, I'm the one that gave him the mail. I feel like I have to fix it some way, but I can't. And of course, I was just so distraught by the bad news the lumberjack got. I just had to run into a tree. In all honesty, I was testing something because the mechanic mentioned, "Oh, if anything happens to the car, bring it back to me." So in my head, I was wondering, is something going to happen to the car? But no, it's completely indestructible. And in fact, I can't even drive into the water because the developer put up invisible barriers all around the water to make sure that I couldn't drive into it. I guess that's very smart, but I'm upset about it. Surprisingly, though, that was the end of the day. That was all I had to do. So I just pull up into my mail parking spot and I go home. And when I get home, I get a freaking phone call. Just kidding. Well, not just kidding. I did get a phone call, but it's a good phone call. It's a call from my mom. I'm just assuming that my mom in game is as nice as my mom in real life. I love my mom. So I was super excited to hear from this virtual woman that I do not know and have no relationship with. But anyways, we just talked about the job, and then after I was done with that phone call, I was like, I'll read a book. That book sounds like it sucks. I'm gonna be honest. Because I do read books in real life, but primarily mafia romances and stuff. I know that probably sounds wild, but my point is, I am very much not a classical reader. That was a tangent, but I get back on the job, I go to the post office, I get my van, and I start delivering mail, and I come across the cat lady again, and she's freaking out. Well, now I have a sick cat to take to the vet. She was just like, oh, my cat's so sick. So I run over to the vet. I take a break from all of my mail delivering duties to bring him to the vet. And the vet's like, yeah, I'll take care of him. And that was it. It was a very pleasant and short conversation with no unnecessary formalities. Now, of course, I'm bouncing all over town. So directly after I go to the vet, I'm going to the film store. And this was by far one of the most pleasant conversations I had had with any of the townspeople. She was so chill. She was making jokes, recommending me a movie. She actually gave me a movie to watch that night, and I was so happy. Also, look at this dude on the sidewalk. Look at him. I told him to ignore me 2 seconds before that happened, and he really took that to heart. The next package I had to deliver was actually at a place that I hadn't been to before, and this mom was doing really cute, like, space roleplay with her kid. Turns out that mom is my childhood best friend, and I didn't recognize her. But in my defense, she had a collar on her head and, like, an astronaut helmet in front of her face. So I feel bad, but I also don't, you know? She seemed like she was really mad at me, so I went and rage delivered a bunch of packages, and one of the packages was to this guy on his computer. He ignored me the whole time, so I just left. Then I got home, and guess who's calling me? Frickin' Steve. And I realized I might not have told you guys earlier in the video who Steve is. That's my coworker, and he's freaking weird. And you know what this weirdo does? He gives me work while I'm on vacation. And the worst part is it's his work. He's telling me to do his work while I'm on vacation. So I hang up the phone out of rage and I go watch that cute movie that Angie gave me. And I start off my morning horribly with the work from Steve. And guess what? He lied to a coworker and told them that I wanted to do it. I didn't want to do it. I'm getting really behind. I realized I didn't leave too much time for me to talk in this video. I go visit Maureen again, give her a different parcel. She tries to give me blueberry pie again. I just accept my fate this time, you know? I just can't fight it anymore. Come to find out that my childhood best friend talked to the cafe lady and told her I stopped by. I guess they're besties, and I don't expect besties to not tell besties what's happening. But that was kind of a little awkward for me. I was like, I was willingly giving you that information, and you're telling me you already had that information from somebody that wasn't me? That's crazy. It's really not that crazy, genuinely, but I was thrown off, like it was a trick shot or something. But we got into a whole conversation of like, oh, I've been gone from this town for 22 years and, you know, things just aren't the same anymore. And Maureen, she kind of felt like she was guilt tripping me for not keeping up with people and calling me crazy. I feel like if you're living across the country for 22 years, you're not obligated to keep up with people. I digress, though. I go pick up the kitty. Turns out the cat lady gave the kitty a cupcake and he had a tummy ache. Poor thing. But he's totally fine. And now I'm on a mission to take the cat home. That's all. No mail in the meantime. I'll get to mail later. I bring the kitty to the crazy cat lady. Of course, she's very grateful. I tell her not to give the kitty any more cupcakes. And she's like, but why? So, obviously, the kitty's going to get a tummy ache again. At some point. Now, I drive to the other side of town to give the lumberjack more mail. And guess what? It's more bad mail. And I feel super bad. And it's some paperwork. They want to bulldoze the woods or something. And he needs to do a bunch of paperwork to prevent it, but he doesn't really know how to do it. So I offer, and he graciously accepts, and I felt like it was a very kind and normal conversation. And guess what? We're going to meet up at the cafe later this week to do the paperwork. So yeah, 1 point for having a normal conversation to me. And also, if you feel like this is going fast, that's intentional. I'm delivering mail like this in between all of these parcels. I just cut it out because it's kind of boring. And after I'm done doing all of that boring letter delivery, I'd go see the film lady again, and I'd give her back the movie that she lent me. It was such a fun movie. And apparently, she's had this dream of expanding the film industry in this small town for a while with a portable VCR player. And she has this entire plan that involves me because, mind you, I'm a software developer. So I, in this universe, am super duper smart and can help her deal with that stuff. So while I'm delivering this mail, we make a whole date. Yeah, that's right, a date at my house at 5 o'clock, the date time. But unfortunately, 5 o'clock is until a lot later, so enjoy this clip of me running over grass. There we go. And I also had to deliver a package to somebody, but they weren't home. So guess who got a freebie for avoiding social interaction? Yeah, me. And by the time I did 2 things, it's date time. So of course, we're sitting down, we're making good conversation, talking to her about my job, talking to her about movies, talking about the movie that she lent me and how funny it was. And after we're done with all the fun conversation, she sits down and explains to me that she wants me, as the postal worker, to deliver this portable VCR to people around town while I'm doing my mail rounds, along with free movies, to get people to watch more movies and then go to her shop to buy more movies. Now, I'm no business degree haver, but I think that's kind of genius. And especially a portable VCR, I've never heard of that. And you know, earlier how I was calling it a date? Well, she just called me babe. So it's definitely a date. But then I get ahead of myself and I invite her to stay for an extra cup of coffee. And then she turns me down. So, you know, maybe it wasn't a date and I just got ahead of myself. And I'll never be the sexy baby that I want to be. But sometimes life just goes like that. But then she's also still really nice to me. So maybe she doesn't hate me. And it was just awkward. After she leaves, it's the end of my day. I get a phone call from my dad. Turns out, while my parents have been on vacation, they've been separated the whole time. So my mom and my dad are calling me individually and aren't talking to each other. So they don't know the things that I have told the other person. He goes on and he tells me about his vacation, how much fun he's having, and then I ask him about his relationship to the townspeople, and it's all very chill. However, it gets not so chill as I have to go work on the stupid work that Steve gave me. That's not even my work. And then the 5th day comes and I quit. I don't actually quit like I do. I log off of the game. But at this point I was playing for 3 hours, and unfortunately the day that I streamed this, I was having a really bad day, so I felt like garbage. Absolute garbage. So I ended stream at 3 hours, and I wasn't able to get through the whole game like I had wanted to. But all in all, it's a really fun and cute game, especially if you just need something mindless to get your mind off of all the atrocities happening in the world constantly and everything around you being set on fire. It's a great distraction from that. I know this is a new style of video, so if you liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe. That'll tell me that you liked it. I appreciate it. And while you're doing that, you know, you may as well hop over to the Discord and the Twitch channel so you catch every Fun Game Friday, because guess what? Twitch sees it first and they see the whole thing. You are getting a very, very watered down, edited version. So if you want the whole thing, go over there, turn on notifications, and we can hang out next week. Even if you don't do that though, I hope you all have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye!